that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review charged by BoardGameExchange.com, the internet's only board game rental website. Today, I am very excited to be checking out Pandemic on the Brink from Z-Man Games. This game will take you about 45 minutes to play. It's for 2 to 5 players who are ages 10 and up. And Pandemic on the Brink is not actually a game. It's an expansion to the original Pandemic. If you just go out and buy this Pandemic on the Brink, you won't be able to play it. You need Pandemic. But, anywho, if you haven't heard of Pandemic, if you haven't checked out Pandemic, you need to. It's a fantastic game. Go back and check out my review for it. But anyway, Pandemic on the Brink is going to add more roles, more events, more game types, more cubes, more things to hold your cubes, and even a bad guy. Let's open it up and check it out. Okay, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Pandemic on the Brink. As I mentioned, this is an expansion, so we're not going to go over to gameplay, just what you're going to get and how it's played. First and foremost, you get your handy-dandy rule booklets. This is just like the original rule booklet, 16 pages double-sided and absolutely fantastic. Very, very well done. It will answer every question you have clearly and concisely. Thumbs up. Next, you're going to get the aesthetic stuff. You're going to get these Petri dishes that do look very cool. I think they're unnecessary, but they do obviously look really cool and add a little bit of oomph to the game. Next, you're going to get something I always love when game developers include, and that is some blank cards. So if you want to make your own rolls or make your own special events, they're going to let you do it. You got blank cards. Awesome. You're going to get another action card because they're adding a 5th player to the game. It used to be just a 4-player game. Now it's 5. So thumbs up on adding a 5th player. Love that. You're going to get a bonus Epidemic card in case the 6 included with the original game was not enough for you if you want 7. I don't know anyone who's going to play with 7, but an extra card, not going to complain. Then, you're going to notice you get a lot of pawns. The pawns are smaller than the original pawns, which I like because you're going to be able to have 5 players. And there's a lot of different colors because there's a lot of new roles. So let's just get into the new roles. There are tons of new roles. Let's count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new roles. One of them is just a redid operations specialist, which makes him less useless than he used to be. But there's some really cool ones in here, and this adds a lot of variety to the game. So, for instance, this is the contamination specialist. So what does he do? When you enter a city with 2 or more cubes of the same color, remove one. So as soon as you enter into it, it's gone. You got the generalist, one I really like. This gives you 5 actions instead of the original 4, which is really nice. You have the archivist. Your hand limit is now 8 cards, which is incredibly useful, and once per turn you may spend an action to draw your current city's card from the player discard pile. So if someone has discarded the city you were in, you can use one of your actions to pick it up out of there, which is awesome. Definitely a very nice ability, and these add a lot of new things to the game. Next, you're going to get your new special event cards, which are also awesome. I love nearly all of them. So let's take a look at this one. This is the remote treatment. Remove any 2 cubes from the board. You can play at any time before the infection phase. This is incredibly useful. I mean, if you're about to have an outbreak here and an outbreak there, and you say, all right, I'm going to take one off here, one off there, you can just do that with this card. What do you got this one? This is borrowed time. This gives any player you want 2 more actions. So if you gave this to the generalist role, they're going to have 7 actions. There's a lot of new things in here, and you're going to be mixing and matching with the old ones. It's going to create a new kind of play experience every time with the new roles and events every single time. Really love those aspects of the game. Next, we're going to get to, oh, I almost forgot. We have our purple cubes, which you will be using in the purple game mode, the Mutation Challenge, which we'll go ahead and talk about first. So the Mutation Challenge is a little bit fidgety, but what it's going to do is it's going to add these new purple cubes. These purple cubes have special, unique attributes to them, and obviously you're going to need to cure it, so you got a new purple thing you're going to set on the board to cure it. But what you're going to do is you're going to be adding these mutation event cards into there, and these mutation events are going to make bad things happen if you have purple cubes on the board. But how do you get the purple cubes on the board? You say, hey, those are the country cards, right? Nope. These are the mutation cards. When you run into one of these, they're going to add a purple cube on the board. And let me tell you, if you have some of these mutation cards at the top of your country pile, you're in for a very long, well, you're in for a very short game of Pandemic, because these things really will screw you up real quick. Interesting game mode, don't think it's my favorite. Next, you're going to get the Virulent Strain Challenge, which is another Epidemic game mode, a new one. So how does this one work? It's very simple. All this does is you're going to you're going to put these in place of your original epidemic cards. And it makes one disease become particularly more deadly than all the rest of them. So you're going to have to focus on that one disease over the other ones. In addition, when you come into this, you're going to have to do the regular stuff. But then this one says, let's see, after performing the intensity step on this card, remove 4 unused cubes of the Virulent Strain from the pile. So what that means is, you know, you normally have like, what, your 20 cubes or whatever, and if you run out of those cubes, you lose the game. So they're saying you're going to lose 4 of those cubes, which is really going to hurt you. What's this one say? This one says, players in or who enter a city with the Virulent Strain cubes must treat at least one of those cubes on the turn they leave the city. So essentially, you can't leave that city unless you treat one of these cubes. So they're going to add a lot of variety to the game, and I think this is my personal favorite game mode of the 3. Last, you're going to get the Bioterrorist, the infamous Bioterrorist. This is going to have one player playing against everyone else as the Bioterrorist. And as the Bioterrorist, you're not actually going to have your pawn on, or you're not going to be playing on the board. You're going to be playing on this little custom map down here. You're going to be charting exactly where you're going and what you're doing. And you can do a lot of interesting stuff. You're going to be able to fly around. You're going to be able to put out purple cubes. You're going to be able to destroy bases and do just a whole bunch of really neat stuff to try and screw over the people you're playing against. And that is what you're going to get inside of Pandemic on the Brink. Alright, Pandemic on the Brink from Z-Man Games. What are my final thoughts? We're not going to do pros and cons. We're actually just going to go over everything you're going to get and whether or not I liked it. First and foremost, I want to go over what I liked the best. And the best thing that you're going to get are the new events and the new roles. They are fantastic. You will use them for the rest of the time you have Pandemic. They add so many new roles and new events. It's awesome. They are fun to play. There's some that you're going to be like, that's so cool every time you get it. And you're going to be like, man, I hope I get that. And then there's the new events, which definitely spice things up. I mean, there's one that lets you change your role. There's a whole bunch of new ones. They are fantastic, outstanding. Thumbs up, Z-Man Games, when you want more of those in the 3rd expansion. Also, you're going to get the Petri dishes. The Petri dishes are nice. They're serviceable. They make the game look really cool. I could have done without them if they would have lowered the price a little bit, but for what you get, they look really, really neat. Now on to the 3 game modes, the meat and potatoes. First, we got the Virulent Strain Challenge. I like it. I think it's my favorite of the 3. Why? Because it's so easy to implement. Because literally all you have to do is take out the old Epidemic cards and put these ones in, and you're going to have a different game. Normally you might be focusing on all these reds over here, but if your Virulent Strain's yellow, you're going to be like, oh crap, we got to take care of yellow because anything could happen down there. It really does add a new element to the game, which I like a lot. Next, we got the Mutation Challenge. I like the Mutation Challenge. It's good. If I'm playing with experienced Pandemic players, I'm more than happy to throw it in there. But for my money, it's just a little bit too fidgety and a little bit too much to explain for newer players. Once you've really gotten your feet underneath you on Pandemic, then I think you should add the Mutation Challenge. But it's by no means a bad game mode. Last, we have the Bioterrorist Challenge, and I'm torn on this. I'm torn. I don't know which way to go, because I love the Bioterrorist Challenge if I get to be the Bioterrorist. However, I don't get to be the Bioterrorist, it's not the best, being quite frank. I love playing as the bad guy, trying to escape and elude everybody and trick everybody by doing this and that. I really loved that aspect of it. However, when I finally got around to not being the Bioterrorist, it's like, man, is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet? God, it's taking forever, because Bioterrorist goes after every single player. I just can't recommend the Bioterrorist Challenge. It's fun to check out, and you might like it a lot better than I did. I love playing as a Bioterrorist, but not as everybody else. That's all you're going to get in Pandemic on the Brink. Is it worth your money? If you like Pandemic, absolutely. The roles and the events are top-notch, outstanding. You'll play with them for the rest of your life. Overall, I definitely can recommend Pandemic on the Brink if you love Pandemic. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your time, YouTube.
That was a review for Pandemic on the Brink. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bauer's Game Corner. Also check out BoardGameExchange.com, the nationwide board game rental service.